In a world where reality is often stranger than fiction, there are stories that haunt the edges of what we understand. Stories of bonds so deep, so powerful, that they defy explanation. Tonight, we take you into the heart of such a tale, where silence was a language, and a bond between two sisters became their curse. This is the story of June and Jennifer Gibbons, the silent twins. Born in 1963, June and Jennifer Gibbons were the daughters of Caribbean immigrants living in a small, tight-knit Welsh community. From the very start, there was something different about them, something unsettling. They were inseparable, communicating in a language only they understood, a secret code of whispers and gestures. It wasn't long before their teachers and parents noticed something strange. The twins refused to speak to anyone else. Even in school, the twins were a mystery. They never uttered a word to their teachers or peers. When they spoke, it was only to each other in what seemed like a rapid, private dialect. Their bond was unnerving, an almost psychic connection that kept them locked in their own world, a world no one else could enter. Some believed their silence was a form of protest, a reaction to the racism and isolation they faced as the only black children in the community. But others whispered of something more sinister. As the years passed, June and Jennifer's isolation deepened. Their bond became more intense, more obsessive. It was as if they were living not just in their own world, but in each other's minds. At home, they locked themselves away, spending endless hours writing dark, disturbing stories of violence and obsession. They even wrote entire novels together, tales of twisted love, control, and death. The stories hinted at a deeper truth about their relationship, one that frightened even them.
She wants us to be one person. I know it. She's controlling my thoughts. I can feel her inside my mind. We've become two souls, but one body, and I cannot escape her. I must either destroy her or be destroyed.
As they grew older, their psychic bond began to unravel in disturbing ways. They turned to crime, committing acts of vandalism, burglary, and even arson. They set fire to buildings and terrorized their community. But when caught, they did not speak a word to police, parents, or judges. Their silence, cold and unbroken, became as chilling as their crimes. It was almost as if they were acting under some dark influence, bound together in a dangerous dance of destruction. The courts didn't know how to handle two teenagers who seemed to exist outside the realm of normal human behavior. They were sentenced to indefinite detention in Broadmoor, a notorious high-security psychiatric hospital where their twisted connection only deepened. Inside Broadmoor, the twins were once again inseparable. Locked away from the outside world, their relationship became even more intense. Doctors and nurses observed the eerie way they moved in perfect sync, as if controlled by an unseen force. Sometimes they wouldn't move for days, sitting silently in their cells, their eyes empty, their bodies still. At other times, they would erupt in violent outbursts, mirroring each other's rage. But what disturbed the doctors the most were their claims of telepathy, an unspoken connection that allowed them to communicate without words. Both twins insisted that they could feel each other's thoughts, share each other's pain, and experience each other's dreams. It was as though they were two minds trapped within one consciousness. After 14 years doctors in Broadmoor, something unimaginable happened. On the day they were scheduled to be transferred to a lower security hospital, Jennifer suddenly became ill. There were no signs of physical trauma, no medical explanation. She simply stopped living. Her cause of death was ruled as acute myocarditis, an inflammation of the heart. But how could a perfectly healthy young woman just die without warning? Some say Jennifer willed herself to die. Others believe it was the psychic bond between the two that decided her fate. In the days leading up to her death, Jennifer had confided to her sister and the nurses that she knew her time had come. It was as if she had accepted her destiny, a destiny that June would live on. And then, something even stranger happened. June, who had spent her entire life in silence, began to speak, freely, openly. It was as if the bond that had held her captive was broken, and she was finally free. June herself admitted that they had made a pact. One had to die, so the other could live. Jennifer, she said, had chosen to sacrifice herself. To this day, the true nature of the silent twins' bond remains a mystery. Were they simply victims of a deep psychological illness? Or was there something far more powerful, far more supernatural at play? We may never know, for in their silence lies the answer, a secret that now rests with the dead. This is Whispering Tales. Join us again as we explore the unsolved, the unknown, and the unspeakable.